everyone I talk to, they all say she has such a positive attitude. And I mean, obviously know positive psychology, but it literally does. It's practice, right? And so I think Aristotle talks about it, and Rabbi Sachs, this idea that we can practice and develop goodness, and we can also practice and develop positivity and heal ourselves from that. Because the more and more you say it, what you do, you're like, I can do this. I'm going to get over this. It actually becomes part of your neural hardware, and it is now you, right? So you have like actively worked to heal yourself, right? And you're inspiring so many people. Like, just blows my mind. And I also wanted to mention how hard that must have been not being able to drive anymore. So you have all this agency with your illness, but then you lose that agency where, because you're so driven and you like helping others, and then you sort of lose that. That must have been incredibly difficult, because I think you mentioned you do a lot for your family too, and you were doing a lot for your mom, right? So you sort of had lots of people you're helping out with. Was that a weird change too?
Oh, the lack of independency. That was traumatizing for me, for somebody who, like you said, is very driven, who's able to do all these things, and then all of a sudden it kind of just gets taken from you. It's just like, how do you get through it? And this past year, actually, that's when I kind of realized, like, I need my independency back. It was hard because, like, I love my parents, but sometimes, like, they're doing so much for you that it's like almost overbearing. And you're like, no, let me do it. Like, the simplest thing, let me cook, mom. Like, I can cook. I might not be able to do the dishes right away, but I can cook, or I can do that. And it does take me time. It takes me so much longer than the average person to cook or clean or do anything, go through the grocery store. Way longer. But if I can do it, I'm going to do it, because that's giving me back my independency. I want to, it's not that I was ever in these past years so dependent on someone, but it's like I had no choice but to be dependent. And that's a struggle in itself, because you're like, oh, I can do this. No, I can't. I don't want to. Or my body's not up for it. So it's just like, it's finding that balance between, okay, where I can be independent, but some days I will have to be dependent on others, right?
Absolutely. I think, yeah, everything you're saying also resonates. Like, this is nothing like what you've experienced, but with my major depressive disorder, I did something similar where I was diagnosed at 22 and didn't get help until like I was in so much trouble about 2 years ago. And it's I think with you, you're also such like an empathic person, and so kind, and want to help others. So then that pushes concerns about yourself back, right? So you're always like, well, I'm okay. I'm just going to keep doing this and keep doing this. Whereas if one of your friends were experiencing those same things, you would have been like, get the heck to the doctor, you idiot, right? And so it's also must have been hard learning. So you go to like accept help. You go.
No, I was just going to say that that's one thing I've really learned, is that during my counseling skills courses in my undergrad, we learned about compassion, being compassionate to others versus empathy. And I realized that I had to be more compassionate to myself. I wasn't giving myself enough credit for being able to do just the little things, because I was like, oh, that's so little. But for someone who's going through what I'm going through, no, like, if I am able to just get downstairs, that's a big deal. And I should be proud of myself. And it was finding the little things to be so happy about. And yeah, it's like, for me, because I did my undergrad and worked so much and everything, those were such big achievements. And that's how the first at least 2 years of my diagnosis, I was like, I'm not achieving anything. I'm not doing anything. And then my friends are like, no, Alisha, you did X, Y, and Z. Or I started doing the lectures in classrooms, and my friends were like, Alisha, that's huge. And I'm like, I'm just going there to talk. Like, it's not a big deal. And they're like, no, it is. And that's, yeah, it was being more compassionate to myself, because like you said, like, I think I am a very empathetic person, but I wasn't being compassionate. So
Yeah, yeah. It's so important to learn to. I have yet to learn to take care of myself, but I'm gonna I'm gonna work on that. But yeah, I just can't get over the amount of people you've helped by doing this, and it must be hard getting up and doing this all the time, because I know it's probably exhausting too. So it's amazing that you keep doing it, and I know you're helping so many people. I have a million questions for you that I also wanted to ask, but I just wanted to ask more about your poetry, actually. And so, do you want to say more about how it was put together? Because a friend of yours did it.
sure.
Yeah. Okay. Cool.
Yeah. So basically, when I put the Word document together, I started sharing it with a few of my friends. I'm like, oh, if you guys kind of want to know what I've been going through, read this. Why not? Right. So I did that. And the response was overwhelming because a lot of them were like, Alisha, I just cried the whole book. Like, I can't believe you've gone through this. I didn't know what it was like. I didn't even know some of the things that you didn't share with me. So for me, it was kind of nice where I was like, wow, I actually haven't shared as much as I thought I did with a few of my friends. And then here I am spilling the beans in this book. And so one of my best friends, they were like, oh, can you send me it? I was like, yeah, sure, I'll just send it over to you. Like, whatever, it's fine. And they decided to go onto Amazon, and Amazon has the Kindle page or whatever, and you can actually build a book on there. So they did the Kindle version, and then they put this together for me. And so when I got in the mail, I read it and I'm just like, wait, what? What is this? Like, I couldn't believe it. And I was sitting there with my parents too, and I'm just like, guys, I wrote this. And I still remember my mom was doing the dishes, my dad was like wiping the dishes, and they're like, what? And I'm like, yeah, it's my book. Like, I wrote it technically, but my friend put it together for me.
Amazing.
So it was just really nice. And since so this came out, it was published last year in March. That's when my friend put it out for me. And since then I'm still writing. So I'm writing year 5 now. So maybe in another year I'll put out another book and see how that goes.